So here in this video, let's continue with the classification of elements based on their properties. So in the previous video, we saw the classification of elements as metalloids, alkali metals, and alkaline earth metals. Now let us continue with transition metals. Transition metals are nothing but these elements belong to the group 3 to 12. That is, they are going to belong to group 3 to 12. So in that, let us try to fill the elements in 3 to 12. Okay, let's take up the first row, which is going to be, it starts with scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, and then iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, and zinc. And then after scandium, it is going to be yttrium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium, ruthenium, rhodium. Sorry, rhodium is RH. Rhodium, palladium, silver, and cadmium. So below cadmium, it is going to be mercury, and below gold, silver, it is going to be gold. Below palladium, it is going to be platinum. Below rhodium, it is going to be iridium, and below ruthenium, it is going to be osmium. So from here, if you fill it, it would be lanthanum, and then hafnium, and then tantalum, and then tungsten. So these are the transition metal elements. These are present between the metal and the non-metal, and these are also called, these are basically known as transition elements, and they possess ductility, malleability, and has the ability to conduct electricity and heat. So, and then we have missed out filling rhenium in between. Rhenium would be Re. So rhenium should be below technetium. So these are the 30 elements. So basically in a transition element metals, it is going to be 30 elements which are filled in the third group to 12th group, and there are 10 elements per row, and they have the ability to conduct electricity and heat. Moving on to other metals, the other metals that are present are, there are 7 elements that are classified as other metals and are located in group 13, 14, and 15. So there are going to be metals in the non-metallic side, and there are totally 7 of them, which is going to be aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium, lead, and bismuth. Lead. There should also be 7, right? Tin is SN, lead, and bismuth. though they are placed in the non-metallic side, these elements are considered to be elements and they are solids and they have high density and they are opaque in nature. They do possess the properties of metals, and there are 7 metals in this group. And then when moving on to the non-metal group, we have the various non-metals that are present in group 14, 15, and 16. And the various non-metals are going to be carbon. Let's pick out another color, wherein it is going to be carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, and selenium. So these are the non-metals which are generally gases and they do not reflect light, and they are not going to conduct heat and electricity that easily, and they generally exist as gases. And there are few, in case of carbon, it can also exist in solid form. And then they are not going to be, they are going to be very brittle, and they do not possess ductility and malleability character. Wherein moving on to the halogens are the group of elements that is placed in group number 17. And these halogens, the name halogen comes from a Greek term. Halos means sea salt, and genus means producer. So basically, halogen means sea producer or sea former, and a compound that has this particular element in it, for particular element in it, will be known as salts. So the elements that are present in the halogen group are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So these are the 4 halogens that are going to be present. Sorry, this is going to be iodine and acetylene. Okay. So these are the halogens that are going to be present. And then moving on to the noble gas metals. Noble gas metals are not, not noble gas metals. They are generally called as noble gases. They are zero group because they contain complete electronic configuration. They have filled electronic configuration, and the elements that are going to be present in this particular group is helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. So these are the various halogens that are going to be, not halogens, noble gases that are present in the 18th group, and their electronic configuration is going to be complete, and they are basically gases. So there are 6 elements that are present in the noble gas elements. And now comes the important one of the important one, which is going to be the Actinide series and the Lanthanide series, which is known as inner transition elements. So there are going to be 14 actinides and 14 lanthanides and 14 actinides. So it is going to be lanthanum, followed by cerium. Then we have plasmodium, neodymium, neodymium is going to be Nd, promethium is going to be Pm, samarium is going to be Sm, europium is going to be Eu, gadolinium is going to be Gd, and then terbium is going to be Tb, and then dysprosium is going to be dy, and then holonium is going to be ho, and then erbium is going to, sorry, yeah, erbium is going to be er, and then thulium is going to be tm, ytterbium is going to be yb, and lutetium is going to be lu. Similarly, this is the lanthanide series, lanthanides, and moving on to the actinides, we have uh, actinium, which is going to be AC, and then thorium, which is going to be CH, and then it is going to be protactium, which is going to be PA, and then uranium, and then neptunium, plutonium is going to be P, americium, AM, then we have curium, which is going to be Cu, and then berkelium, BK, and then it is going to be californium, CF, and then einsteinium, ES, and then we have fermium, FM, and we have mendelium, we have MD, and then we have nobelium, NO, and then we have lawrencium, LR. So there are 14 elements in each group, and these lanthanides are in the lanthanides are actinides are present within the periodic table. To maintain and retain the beauty of the periodic table, they have been written separately over here, so that it is the beauty of the periodic table is not affected. Inserting these two over here may move the elements which are present over here. So to maintain that, these two are written separately, and these are generally rare earth metals, and they are classified as lanthanides and actinides. And then they possess generally they have radioactive elements, and they are the sixth and the seventh period they constitute the sixth and seventh period in the periodic table. So this is all about the classification of elements based on their properties. So as in rough, we'll move with metalloids, it is going to possess both metal and non-metal character. Alkali metals are highly reactive. Alkaline earth metals are comparatively less reactive than alkali metals. And then alkali metals is going to conduct electricity and heat well. And then they have possess malleability and ductility. And then moving on to transition elements, these metals are going to be in the occupy the group 13 to 12, and there are 30 elements that are found, and then they possess various oxidation state, and they fill d orbital in the electronic configuration. And then moving on to other metals, we have aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium, tin, lead, and bismuth, which is placed in the non-metallic side, and they do possess a metallic character wherein they can conduct electricity and heat. And then moving on to non-metals, we have 6 non-metals, which is going to be carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, and selenium. They are generally gases, and carbon can be solid, and then they are going to be very brittle, and they will not have any they'll not possess any other metallic properties. And then moving on to halogen, these are also going to be gases, and it is going to be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and acetine. And then moving on to, and they are going to be electron deficient. And then in case of noble gases, they have complete electronic configuration, and they're going to occupy the 18th group of the periodic table, and it is going to be helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. And then we have other two different two rows which belong within the periodic table but written separately, and these contain rare earth metals, and these rare earth metals are classified as lanthanides and actinides, and there are 14 elements in these series. So that is all about classification based on their properties.